Welcome to Plant Your Seed. I'm your host, Fred Ferris. On each episode, we share stories of how ordinary people have transformed their lives. Each story is compassionate, each story is authentic, and each story is a transformation. Here are the stories of the people who are changing our world by transitioning to a plant-based diet. Today on Plant Your Seed from California, we have Alicia Wilks. Alicia is a mother of 5 who runs a plant-based household. She is certified in plant-based nutrition from Cornell University, and her husband James is the producer of the popular documentary, The Game Changers. Welcome, Alicia.
Hi, thank you.
Thanks so much for being here. I'm so happy to have you here on Plant Your Seed.
Thank you for having me.
We were talking earlier, and I'm just trying to figure out when it was that you transitioned to a plant-based diet. About what age did you decide that this was something that you felt was right for you?
I was in my mid-30s, probably 34, 35 when I started. I kind of always thought I'd be vegetarian, but I had kids and I thought I needed to feed them meat, so I thought I would do it when they were all grown up.
What was kind of the trigger that got you to change to a plant-based diet?
Well, the first thing for me was after baby number 4. James and I went out to a big steak dinner just the week after he was born. My in-laws were here, and I had this big steak in front of me, and all of a sudden I was totally disgusted by it. And I just said, I'm not going to eat red meat anymore. So that was the first step. And I still ate chicken, and I made chicken and turkey. And they used to say that they were all going to grow wings. I fed them so much poultry. And then James started his research, and we went from just whatever chicken in the grocery store to ice chilled chicken. And he was still buying grass fed beef instead of whatever I was getting for the whole family. So we just started that way. And then the more he looked into it and decided that he wanted to omit things, I just went along with it. But I was, after 4 babies and then 5 babies, I was a little on the pleasantly plump side. And I had gestational diabetes that didn't really go away after baby number 4. And I had really bad eczema, and all of that has just faded away being on a plant-based diet for me.
What did you guys do? Did you just transition slowly, or did it come up to a day and you just decided that's the end of it?
It was a full year almost of me not eating red meat. And by me not eating red meat, no one else really got to eat it because I'm the one who cooks in the house.
Sure.
So once it sort of started to snowball, it was about 6 months before we gave up everything from animals. I think eggs were the last thing to go.
So you noticed that you had some positive changes, both mentally and physically?
Well, my health certainly improved. I also started exercising around that time. So I know that obviously has something to do with it. But I was able to lose weight, and I felt like I had more energy. I didn't want to just watch TV or whatever. I'm always moving, and I love going to the gym and exercising and seeing what my body is still capable of at my age.
You have 4 kids at this time. Once you've transitioned, how do you deal with the kids and kind of the pushback?
Well, the little one had no pushback.
Right. Yeah.
He's only ever had one bite of meat in his life. Um, the others, I think my daughter was 10, and my younger son, or the next in line, was 8. My older son, he'll eat plant-based when he's with us, but he doesn't live with us. He's 25, and while I would say he's definitely more plant-based than he was, he's not fully plant-based. The others, I would make food for them and I would say, "Oh, this is fancy chicken. It's from Spain." And it would be soy curls or something.
Uh-huh.
So, they kind of went along with it, but at the same time, they were also going to their dad's house, the older kids, and he is nowhere near plant-based and gave them a really hard time. So they decided, I didn't force them to, they decided that they didn't want to eat meat and dairy. So once they made that decision, it was easy.
I find when my kids go to a birthday party, I don't know if you have this situation out in California, but when my kids go to a birthday party, it's like, I don't know,
Pizza.
cupcakes, pizza, exactly. So, I mean, the way we do it is we're kind of loose in that situation. If they feel that, I mean, they're understanding and they understand what the situation is, but we're not hard on them. Is that the way you guys deal with it, or is it something that you're like, okay, you can't have a cupcake?
No, they're at a birthday party. It's up to them whether they want to. They do also know that there's probably eggs and milk in it, but we leave it up to them. They don't eat the pizza and things like that. They don't want it, but I think at this point they would be sick from eating cheese.
And there's so many great substitutes out there if you really want to eat cheese, I guess.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We order pizza once every couple of weeks and it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we're always making our own. In fact, I think we're making some tonight. There's so many great substitutes these days, and it makes it so much easier. Everything from Beyond Meat to the Impossible Burgers. Is that something that you guys will use, or kind of slide that in and out of your diet, or is it something that you just stay away from?
James does not eat much like fake meat kind of. He would rather have whole foods. He will once in a while eat a burger. Um, we do it, I don't know, once a month. We'll grill burgers or something. Unfortunately, the drive-throughs with, the Beyond Whopper, whatever,
Right.
Carl's Jr. and Burger King both have something which has made it a little bit more difficult to be healthy because it's easy and it's so tasty.
It's so true. It's nice though to be able to go. I travel a lot. It's nice to be able to just get something,
Yeah,
as opposed to just, I don't know, having a salad.
beans.
Yeah, a can of beans.
Yeah.
What people think we actually eat.
Exactly.
As far as your kids going to school, do they get hassled at all?
No. Matthew, who is 10 now, when he was in kindergarten, he sort of educated his whole class about what being vegan meant. So because he was the only one and he didn't eat the lunch that they provide and he didn't eat at the parties or whatever. And he's fine. He's always been very um comfortable in his skin. So he'll tell you, I don't eat that. So this is why. And so all of the kindergartners knew what being vegan was.
I find it, I guess, interesting and slightly difficult as my kids sometimes get hassled about it. And I just try to tell them, we're on the right path and it's better for you and explain it. I just feel that it's best for them and for them
Hmm.
to understand why I feel it's best for them.
Right. I think there's also a lot of good vegan or plant-based role models now that young people can really look up to.
Yeah, no, there are a ton of people out there that, especially with Instagram and stuff like that. Now, as a person who studied plant based nutrition and all its positives and science backed information, why do you think people aren't more open to a plant based diet? Do you feel that it's because of the tradition or the disconnect or just a genuine lack of knowledge?
I would say all of the above. I think food is such an important part of our lives and the social aspect especially. Like you have to have a turkey on Thanksgiving and
Right.
ham at Easter and burgers with the guys on Friday or whatever. So when you try to, you know, go away from that path, people are always I don't know, they feel like you're trying to be better than them or something.
Right.
When I told my family that we were going to be plant-based, and no one, I mean, I'm from Delaware where we, eat a lot of meat
Yeah. A lot of
and
chickens in
a lot of
Delaware.
hunting. Yeah, yeah, chickens. They looked offended and said, "Well, you weren't raised that way." Like I was doing something to hurt them. I mean, they've since totally accepted it.
How did that make you feel when they said that to you, though?
Well, I don't want to be a disappointment or anything. So, I don't know. I mean, I felt strongly enough about it that I can take a few punches and, keep explaining myself.
Right. You just tried to explain kind of your point of view and
Hmm.
just lay it out there.
Right. And show them what we eat. Whenever they visit, obviously everything we have is plant-based here. And when I go there, I usually try to make something. I made my grandmother tofu when I was there the last time. Not so sure how she felt about it.
Did you tell her it was Spanish chicken or whatever?
I should have. She would have been more receptive.
Yeah, it's funny because Thanksgiving, you brought up Thanksgiving, and I always think Thanksgiving is funny because take away the turkey and basically everything else is vegan. Is there anything that you struggled with when you first became vegan, whether it was food or being a parent or eating out with friends, traveling, anything like that?
All of that. I think the eating out part, I was totally overwhelmed because this was what nine-ish years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And even though California has always been ahead of the curve, I think, on stuff like that, it was still weird.
Right.
And we would go to just vegan restaurants, just didn't feel the same. So we would plan ahead and like decide where we wanted to eat, look at the menu, decide what we were going to eat before we ever left. So we planned ahead that way. So we just go wherever now. Maybe almost every place has something we can have. And as far as traveling, it was the same sort of thing. We would pack peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. No one in our house wants to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches anymore because we had so many. But James especially uses a company called Leafside, and I think it's dehydrated plant-based meals. So we can take them on the airplane and just ask for hot water, and you can have it anywhere, and it's healthy and plant-based, and don't feel guilty after having a big Beyond Burger or something.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with this. What is it? Leaf side?
Leafside, yeah,
I'm going to have to check into that. I'll put it in the show notes for people.
yeah,
That sounds like a great idea. I travel a lot.
yeah. I would highly recommend
It's good enough for me.
that.
What did you learn with those struggles, like traveling and eating out? Obviously, you plan ahead and you get the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but did you learn anything else besides that?
I think patience comes into play. Also, those times when you ask if a restaurant has something vegan, every time you do that, it's putting a little seed out there, and they realize that people want that. So I'm sure they get annoyed, but we've
Right.
we've asked a lot of places. Or even if they cook their beans in lard or the rice in chicken stock.
Do you find that that's an uncomfortable situation for you?
No. I think in the beginning I'm much more timid than James. So he would ask, but now I don't even care.
I feel the same way. I was a little kind of apprehensive in the beginning. I'm like, is there anything vegan on the menu? And now I'm just like, I don't care. I'm just going to ask and go from there. And I do a lot of things like you said. I check out the menus beforehand and try to figure out what I'm going to order. Just it just makes it so much easier.
I find that most places will find something that you can have. Like they'll accommodate usually.
I find that as well. I mean, they're in the food business, right? They're just trying to provide food. When you cook at home, is there certain stuff that you like to cook, like chicken pot pie?
Yeah, did you? I mentioned that somewhere.
Yeah, I did. I did some research and I saw that you veganized chicken pot pie.
Yeah, so it's tofu pot pie now. Yeah, I mean, I just tried to find things when we were transitioning that I knew they liked, and then just, spin it so that we could all have it. Um, I do. I really like to cook. I don't like the cleanup, but I like the cooking part.
That's what you have kids for. That's what I have kids for. That's what I tell
Ugh,
them.
well, they don't think that's fair. People always ask what we eat, and I really don't know. We do a lot with lentils.
Uh-huh.
James's favorite is a lentil cottage pie, and instead of mashed potatoes, it's cauliflower and mashed potatoes on top.
Oh, wow. That's
That's a
nice.
really good one, but it's like a comfort kind of food. So
Right.
in the summer in California, it's not my favorite thing.
We do a lot with breakfast. Like we have scones and we have muffins, we have waffles, we have pancakes, French toast, all of that. It's all veganized. It might not be
Hmm.
the healthiest, but the maple syrup's really good. Do you have
Yeah.
anything like that you guys go with?
On Sunday mornings, I'll make either pancakes or waffles or French toast. But the other days, it's oatmeal or, I like to have a shake in the morning or a smoothie. So everyone sort of fends for themselves except for Sunday.
Now, do you have a specific smoothie that you like?
Um, well, my smoothies are very different from everyone else's in the house. I don't like sweet smoothies. I sort of like a dirt tasting smoothie. I like a lot of greens.
A lot of greens, a
Um,
lot of beets.
yes, maybe half of a banana, but everyone else here throws bananas and dates in.
Right.
But I need it to taste like it's really healthy for me to enjoy it.
One of the things I found was I don't know if everybody knows this and I'm just the last one joining in, but using scissors, the kitchen scissors on the dates, it's like genius.
Oh,
It's so easy. It's like, wow,
I
it's
did
so
not know that.
it's so easy. I was like, wow, this is fantastic. I was like, wow, this cuts my time in half for making a smoothie. So I guess maybe I'm not the last one. I feel you've made me feel a lot better now.
I am officially the last one. I'm going to pass that on to James because I've never seen him use scissors either.
Yeah, just go for it. I find it's fantastic. It's so much easier. What is one habit that helps you stay on track with a plant-based diet?
Well, I don't really have any habits that would keep me plant-based. I just know that I feel better eating this way. And it's just not worth it to not eat like this.
I agree. It makes you feel so much better. It gives you so much more energy, don't you think?
Yes. And with 5 kids, I need all the energy I can get.
Right? I can't even imagine. I got three and I need a lot of energy. What cookbook or book would you recommend to someone transitioning to a plant-based diet or that you've gifted to people transitioning to a plant-based diet?
I have two. My favorite cookbook is by Lauren Toyota, Vegan Comfort Classics.
Uh-huh.
Have you had that one?
I do not know that one.
That one is my favorite. And I also like Dr. Greger's How Not to Die. I've gifted that to everyone in my family.
That's a great one. I find that to be one of the easier ones to give to people because they start to understand it a little better.
Right, exactly. Especially as our parents and grandparents are aging.
Right. Finally, can you give me one word to describe how you felt before you became vegan and one word that describes you now that you are vegan?
Um, I think heavy before being vegan, and I don't mean, weight. I just weighed down, I think. Sluggish.
Hmm.
Maybe sluggish is a better one. And now I just feel fresh, lighter.
Yeah, that's so true. Do you feel that it's something that you can't express to people that aren't plant based?
I don't think people believe it.
Right.
But whenever they've tried, I mean, no one that I know personally has ever gone plant-based and regretted it. They've always felt better and looked better for the most part.
I find that as well. It's everybody I talk to that's gone vegan, one of the things they're always telling me is, wow, I wish I had known this sooner.
I wish I had known it sooner.
Right? I think that too. And then I think, well, at least I know it now.
True. And your kids know it at a much younger age.
Exactly.
I'm grateful for that.
That's a great point. That's a great point because you're changing, I guess, in a sense, you're changing the future.
Exactly. And they're doing their part. My daughter, who is 19, I don't know how many friends she's converted. There's a whole tribe of them around here now.
Nice. That's great. That's awesome. My kids, I don't know if they have the confidence yet of, say, a 19-year-old.
Well, my son, when he was 15, he really came into his own with the whole veganism. And it was because of Nimai Delgado from the film.
Oh, yeah.
That was his changing moment.
Did he meet Nimai or?
Yeah, he met him. And it was when he saw that Nimai could look like that without eating meat. And because my son he's a little gym rat and he has aspirations of becoming Nimai, I think. So when he saw it, he thought, well, I can do this. And my son was scrawny. Like we called him noodle arms, which sounds horrible, but we meant it in the most endearing way.
Yeah, endearing way. It's a nice nickname, really.
Well, in hindsight, maybe it wasn't, but I never meant any harm by it.
So he meets Nimai. Can you tell me what happened there?
They worked out together, I think. It was through James anyway.
Sure.
And so Joseph just went in for the questions and he was so happy.
That must have been a great moment there for him. Nimai, I don't know if everybody knows, but he is like chiseled. I don't know, Adonis. I don't know what else to call him.
That's an accurate description.
Right? He is amazing. And to get a chance to work out with him or just be around him and just kind of understand, I'm not sure, but I believe he's been vegan since he was little, but it gives you a goal to set.
Yeah, definitely. And such a nice guy. So the two things together were all Joseph needed.
Perfect. That's so nice. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us here on Plant Your Seed. And what is the best way for people to find you on Instagram, the web, or social media?
Well, I am Planted Mom on Instagram. That's really all I use.
Okay, so Instagram it is. All right, so thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me and for all of your hard work spreading the word.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Hope you are inspired by this story, and remember, it's never too late to plant your seed. Links to everything we talked about on the podcast can be found on Instagram at plant.yourseed in the show notes tab in the bio. If you enjoyed the show, remember to leave us a review, and until next time, thank you for listening.